Inmates, how's life behind bars? Not these bars, but these bars. Today, I'm going to show you our new exclusive exposure lights. We're going to show you some stats against the new Denali DL range as well. We're going to take them out at night time, show them side by side, and then we're going to come back in here and have a bit of a chat about them. Right, let's get straight into the video. Now, a few years ago, someone said to me at a bike festival, and if you're watching this, you'll know who you are. You said to me, if we cut you right down the middle, Steve, you've got Denali written right through the middle of you, like a stick of rock. Well, you're wrong. Now, I'm not here to say anything bad about Denali. Denali is a fantastic brand. It's a global brand when it comes to lights. They're probably the most well-known brand of lights you can put on your motorcycle, and we still heavily endorse them here at Bike Thing, and we sell loads of it here. But we've now been in this business for coming on for 8 years now. I think we're in our 8th year now, and we like to regard ourselves as being very good at what we do. And things find us, premium quality products find us. And I want to introduce you to a brand you may have heard of, but I think the majority of you will not have heard of, and that is Exposure. So Exposure have been around for 30 years. They've been around longer than Denali. They have been making some incredible products over the years, not just in lights, but in hardware for mountain bikes, for the marine. They've got a massive list of companies that or umbrella companies that they have done incredible work with. I met with them nearly a year ago, and we were exploring the opportunity of them creating headlights for motorcycles, which are basically going to be in direct competition with the likes of Denali. Obviously, I'm very keen and interested to look at anything new, any new opportunity to see what else can be brought to the marketplace. Roll forward on nearly a year, and today we have 3 new lights from Exposure, which we have them here in stock today. Now, right now, as I'm recording this intro to this video, I haven't tested them yet. You'll see I've got the Radial 3s on my F900, and I've got the EX2s on my R90. And behind me, Tom, give us a wave, mate. Tom is putting the new EX4s, which is their most powerful one, but we're putting that on our new light mount for the R1300 GS Adventure. One of the really interesting things about Exposure is their background. So there's a history of the company which is quite fascinating, really. The founder of the company, a guy called Roger, he's actually got a history of being a jeweler. I was actually in a meeting with him earlier this week, and he still is quite active when it comes to jewelry, and he was telling me about how he just made some wedding bands and engagement bands for someone very close in their family. But let's not get off subject. But when you look at the lights that Exposure make, and you look into the lenses and the LEDs, you can see a kind of jewelry. Now, I remember going back nearly a year ago, I was looking at them and I felt like I needed to look at them like I was looking at diamonds. And that's what prompted Roger to say, well, I used to be a jeweler. I thought, wow, okay, it shows. They're such a pretty light. But the important thing is, are they gonna do the job, and if not better, than what's currently out there in the marketplace? That's what's really key and important. So to follow on from that, I actually visited their factory for the first time this week. So we've been speaking for the last year, they've been coming here, we've been looking at products, and we've been helping to work with them to try and to come up with these fantastic new motorcycle lights. But my first visit to the factory was this week, and it was not what I was expecting. As soon as I walked through the door, it was like walking into a McLaren factory, which, as if you've ever heard or ever been into somewhere like that, it's absolutely spotless. Beautiful LED lighting in the ceiling, nice clean walls, everything whitewashed, everyone's got nice workstations. It's fantastic, multiple floors, but from the outside it just looked like a great big barn, but inside it was something else. Very impressed with that, and it goes to show that that is carried on throughout everything they do. High quality in everything. It's important to note Exposure have been making lights for road bikes, mountain bikes at a very premium level. So we're not talking about your £5, £10, £15 jobbies from Halfords down the road. These are very high premium, expensive lights which come with a 7-year warranty. We'll come on to all that stuff a bit later on as well, but all come with a 7-year warranty. By the way, I'm also going to show you a full night test in a minute, showing you all the lights, also comparing them with the Denali range as well, some of the Denali range which are comparable with these exposure lights. So they moved on from bicycles onto cars, and their lights can be seen today on rally cars. There's lots of footage and pictures online of exposure lights on Porsche rally cars. And now they're moving on to the motorcycles. So before we get on to the stats of how powerful these lights are, so please stay tuned and hear it, because they are phenomenal stats based on what is currently out there in the industry. I'm very excited by it all. Now, one of the things I'm quite excited about is that we managed to negotiate a bit of exclusivity with this product. What I mean by that is you can only buy it from us here at A Bike Thing. However, you can, if you wanted to, you could buy it direct from Exposure. But obviously we have the EasyCan here, which we're stocking, plus we have our bundles, so you can't get it wrong. It's very important that you buy the right thing with the right light for the right bike. And that is what we specialize here at A Bike Thing. So as of right now, I've been working frantically in the evenings trying to get all of the bundles updated. So as I'm filming this right now, we've only got about 5 or 6 bikes with the exposure lights ready on the configurator, but we're going to slowly roll them all out. What you need to do, I'll put a little overlay on the side here, but you need to go on the website or click on the link down below. It takes you through to the A Bike Thing bundles for the brand name Exposure, or if you see your bike, click on it and then you can look at the configurator for your bike. You can't get it wrong. You'll see the EasyCan, which is compatible for your bike on there, and then you'll see the exposure lights which you choose, and then you'll see the relevant respective light mounts, and if you want to add a sound bomb or a rear light, you can do, and we'll make sure you get all the correct wiring in that bundle. But if you just want to buy the pair of lights or one light by itself, you can buy that from us too, but you can also buy that directly from Exposure if you wanted to. But I'd appreciate it, you're here, you're my subscriber, you're my customer. I'd appreciate if we win that business with you. And it's also worth noting that by buying it in a bundle, we discount them. Because you're putting lots of items in a cart, we will reward you with a discount. Whereas if you buy it just on its own, there'd be no discount. But you cannot buy these from anywhere else. So before we get on to the night test, let's start showing you these in my hand, and we're gonna show it you side by side with a Denali D3 and a D4 and possibly a D2, just so you can see the difference in quality, because it's so important to note that when this is in the hand and you see it, it's a complete level up compared to what you get with Denali. So let me start on it. So the first one we're going to pick up, I'm actually going to go for the Radial 3. So what you see here on my F900, this is what we've got on here. By the way, if you're looking closely, you'll see all the wires are loose on the bike. This is because we want to do a very quick exchange in and out for the lights. So tonight or at some point over the weekend when it's nice and dark and not raining, I'm planning to take this out. We'll be quickly changing over the lights and plugging in the different lights so you can see all the differences. So I asked Tom to wire it up externally so I can just quickly change the lights. So this is how they come packaged. So this is one light pod. Now, before a lot of you are looking at this and thinking to yourselves, what a waste of packaging, high quality packaging. Well, let's not think of it as recyclable. Let's think of it as reusable. You can use this packing cubes in the panniers, lunchbox if you like. I won't start putting your salad in there, but this is a reusable box. But point is, it's very high quality. It's going to come to you like this. If you have a pair of lights, you're going to get 2 of these. As you open the box up, you'll see here is the light pod. Here we are. So I'm going to take this out. You get a little QR code inside here to scan. That's going to help you. You're going to go through and see a quick start guide. You get a spare pigtail on there, but if we are connecting this to an EasyCan, we won't need this. Get a couple of stickers in the box as well. So this is the Radial 3 in my hand. Right, so this is CNC machined billet aluminium. I don't know of any other lights, motorcycle lights, that's making their lights like this. So if we take a Denali light pod, for instance, they are all cast aluminium and then powder coated. This is machined aluminium and then it's hard anodized. Now, what is the benefit of having that? So if you've got an older, or let's say you've got a Denali light pod or any other light pod that is cast and then powder coated, when it chips, which it might do, a stone chip, or when they get a bit older and then moisture can get under that paint, or what happens is the paint will start to corrode and it will start to bubble, and then the cast also changes into a dirtier grey colour. We've seen it, it's not great, and it just obviously ruins the look and the aesthetics of the light pod. Now, with a hard anodized machined aluminium casing, when the paint chips, or if it chips, bearing in mind this is a bit like ceramic coating, if you like, it's a very hard anodized, it's quite hard to scratch and chip, but if it does, you're not going to get the corrosion like you get with a cast aluminium. It's a complete different process, the way the metal. I don't need to teach a lot of you this stuff, but just to give you an idea, because I'm really excited about this whole billet aluminium thing, because of the anti-corrosion aspects of it, I said to Exposure, I said, have you got a really old light from your bicycle stuff that you could source for me? So they went away and they came to me with this 5-year-old light, which has been used extensively. These things record the amount of hours use they've been used and stuff. So this is a battery operated, but this is 5 years old. It's had plenty of use, and you can see markings on there from the amount of use it's had. It's probably been dropped hundreds of times as well, but not one bit of corrosion on there. It's in mint condition, and that is billet aluminium. It's beautiful. Just in case any of you watching don't know what billet aluminium means, it's basically one piece of aluminium and it's extruded. It's basically milled out of one piece rather than several pieces. It's really a beautiful thing, and very, very lightweight as well. Now, when you look at a light pod, we've got a little bit of flex on the end with the plug on the end. The plug on the end is not the same as what you get with the EasyCan. Hence, you have to buy, which we include in the bundles, you have to buy the special harnesses, which has an MT plug one end for the EasyCan, or the CanSmart, or even the Lone Rider Motor Can. These will work on all three of those devices. So this is pretty much future-proofed, but you do have to have this harness. It's got the MT plug one end, it's got the 3-pin super seal on the other end. Now don't confuse this with a cheap 3-pin super seal. These super seal plugs are very high quality, over molded ends on them. They are really nice. They're not like the ones you get that you can order off Amazon or eBay and you have to make them up yourself. They're very high quality. Very pleased with this whole fit and finish of these lights. Now moving on to the actual LEDs inside this. This is where these really differ from anything else that's out there, because they've got the latest Cree LEDs that no one else has got currently as of now in 2025. These are the XHP 35.2 HD. Now, comparing them with what Denali use, let's say in their D3s, which is the Cree XP.P LED. If you were to do a bit of a deep dive into this and ask Google the comparisons with these LEDs, this is the best one they currently do. There's nothing else out there that Cree make better than what's inside here, the XHP 35.2 HD. Now, coming on to the lumens. Like I say, I don't want to put Denali down. They are fantastic lights. They are a great all-round light. The D3 is a very popular light. But the D3, if I remember rightly, punches out 2,100 lumens per pod. This here, which is half the size, by the way, have we got a D3 to hand? Have you got a D3 lying around behind you, Tom? Yeah. Sorry, this is all very, very raw. Thank you, buddy. Look at this. The size comparison between these two. Look at that. That's nuts. It's the first time I've actually held them side by side. Are you catching that, Will? Yeah. Right. 2,100 lumens in my left hand, your right. This has got 3,580 lumens, and it's less than half the size.
Yeah, I'd say it's like a third.
It's like a third of the size. And you're going to see how bright these are. Now, what's really, really good about these is that because we have them working with the EasyCam, we can dial that brightness right down, which we need to. We really need to. So I recommend dialing these down to 10% for a driving light. It's bright enough. We have the ability to dip them on the mounts so we can bring them down, making sure we're not dazzling drivers coming towards us. But then when we want full beam, 100% all day long, and we're literally going to light up the sky. At this point of this part of the video, I haven't seen what these can do at night time. I don't know, but you're going to see it shortly. But look at the size difference, and just look at the way. So if I was to offer this D3 up to here, they look great, but you can really see them, can't you? Which is fine. But those of you who want to have a subtle light, which isn't basically screaming, oh, look at me, I'm a great big headlight on this bike. Look at that. Nice and small, but they're going to punch out more power than these bigger lights. Now, I'm not making this comparison with a D7 or a D7 Pro or the Lone Rider Moto lights. They've got way more lumens, but they're a big ass dinner plate on your bike as well. And if you like that, that's great. I think they look fantastic on my R1300 GS. I don't think that's in the view of you, but I've still got those on my R1300 GS. I love them. I love the whole multi-functionality of those. But if you want to go for a discreet and extremely powerful light, these Radial 3s are going to be an absolute killer. If you missed it, please, I really urge you to watch the video where we managed to get a couple of golden samples of this before the main production model came through, but we fitted these to the Ducati Multistrada, the V4 RS. They look stunning on there. As you know, that is a bike that does not lend itself well to being customized, but these look the business on his bike, and he's well happy with how he's obviously seen very well during the day, and at night time he literally lights up the road ahead. And if I remember rightly, if you watch that video, I actually called my account manager at Exposure just to double check that the 3,580 lumens per pod wasn't a typo.
Only 3,580 lumens on one pod.
How do you get that kind of power out of something this small? How? Well, it's the XHP 35.2 HD. It's that Cree LED, which no one else is doing. We have them here. Right. Probably also worth mentioning light temperatures. We get loads of comments on loads of videos in the past about the temperatures of lights, the Kelvin rating. So these are 5,700 K, 5,700 Kelvin. It's worth noting that 5,000 is the baseline for a very bright white light. 5,700 is going to be, it's all about the color. It's going to be like a bluer white. So if you go lower, below 5,000, it becomes a warmer light, but it seems to be the way that people want to go even brighter, so or bluer light. And the 5,700, this is what Exposure have come up with, and they believe that this is the best light for us. Okay, something else that's worth looking at, IP rating. So this is all to do with waterproofness and dust proofness. The D3 is an IP67. Now IP67 is, it's waterproof, it's pretty standard, but you wouldn't want to be starting to stick pressure washers on it. Now, when you get onto IP69K, which this is IP69K, you can start putting your pressure washer over it. I still wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't want to tempt fate. But this has got an IP69K rating, whereas this is only an IP67. However, playing complete devil's advocate, Denali's new DL range, which is their lower budget range, they are IP68 and IP69. So it's worth pointing that out, just so you know. So the final thing I want to mention about on the stats, there's so much more we could dive into, but is the warranty. Denali offer a 5-year warranty. The warranty is fantastic. You don't even have to get bothered about the warranty when you buy from me. You have a warranty from me at a bike thing. We don't even get involved with Denali as far as you're concerned, the customer. If you've got a problem with any light that you get from Denali that you bought from us, you just send it straight back and we'll sort you out a replacement or a refund if that's the way where it goes. We then deal with Denali separately afterwards. So we like to try and take the hassle out for you. And another great reason to why you should be buying from a bike thing. But these don't come with a 5-year warranty. They come with a 7-year warranty. 7 years. I completely get it because they obviously have huge confidence in their products. They've been making them for the marine. So like the lights that you see on yachts underwater, those lights go through probably the toughest of environments. And for them to put a 7-year warranty on this really stands to reason that these are a very good, reliable light. They wouldn't be putting that on there if they couldn't stand by it. Actually, just on that point, when I was there this week, having a view around their factory and going downstairs into their testing environment, I was so overwhelmed by that. I really wasn't expecting to see what I saw. I really thought they were just like making lights, packing them and shipping them out, but they're not. They are putting everything through vigorous testing. They had all these things set up downstairs where they're putting their lights in clamps inside these containers with big rocks and stones, literally blasting them and shaking them for days, weeks, months, just showing how they can withstand so much. They put their stuff through things which we probably will never put them through, just so they will definitely last the test of time when it comes to what we want to do with them. Okay, that's enough of the Radial 3s for now. Let's move on to the EX2s and the EX4s, and then we'll get out there on the bike and do this night ride. So here's the EX2. You've got the same stuff in the box, so I'm just going to take the light pod out. Now you'll notice we've got little R2-D2 legs, as I call them. Very cute. It means they can stand up. I've got to be honest, and they know my feelings on this. I don't like them, all right? Because I can't see how we can mount this to a motorcycle, but I can see how you can mount it to the roof of your car, to the bonnet of your car, but this doesn't work for motorbikes. We need a single point, but they've thought about that as well. When you receive these lights, and these are beautiful, by the way, I'm actually in two minds whether I'm going to take off the Radial 3s off this and have these on here, because first of all, actually, they're not more powerful. No, actually, when we go through the stats, these are less powerful than the Radial 3s. The EX4s are more powerful than both of them. But if you like this sort of shaped light, and just be mindful that Denali have a new light called the DL2. It's not as premium as this. Obviously, it's cast aluminium, powder coated. These are machined billet aluminium, hard anodized. Don't have to go through all that again. But they are much more premium light with a 7-year warranty, and the whole feel and finish of it, it's just quality. It's worth noting that I'm going to compare the stats on this against the Denali DL2 because they are more or less the same profile light. So when we get these, my recommendation is you get a little Torx 25 actually in the box, in the little bag of goodies, so you can remove these. It's all little Torx, security Torx. To remove these out of the way, and then on the bottom of it there's like a glider. We'll get some close-up footage of this so we can overlay as I'm talking. There's like a glider bar or a slider bar down here, and we've got special fitments. I haven't got them here with me right now, but they're coming in the next week or two. So if you order these today, hopefully we've already got them here, but by the time you order these. But a little fitting bolt that goes under here, and then we can fit them to either a crash bar light mount or a bike specific light mount. And you can then choose where you want it on the bar. Okay? And that gives it a really nice, neat finish. And one of the things that I'm working with Exposure on, a very clever guy there called Joel, I thought I'd give you a shout out, mate. And he's come up with this beautiful, neat solution where we mount it in here, but it's got these tiny little beveled shims, so we still have movement where we can do this and just twist it around a little bit, just so we can get that perfect dip on there. Because as you can see, by taking these R2-D2 legs off, as I call them, we haven't got the ability to do the tilt. Whereas when we mount it that way, plus I prefer it that way because you see the Exposure branding at the top as well. Whereas this way, you see all the CE marks on the back of it, which still look very, very nice. Like the whole laser etching on the anodized, and also the made in Great Britain. Do you know what? I don't think I've mentioned that yet, have I? Don't think I've actually mentioned that these are made in Great Britain. These are not made in China. Nothing from this is made in China. It's all done in Great Britain. And to that point, we have a conformity badge on our website, which I had to jump through a few hoops to get that to be allowed to be on our website. So you'll notice that on our website, when you look at these lights, we've got that little conformity badge on there to say these are licensed in terms of they're registered as a product that's from Great Britain. So very proud about that. Okay, so the LEDs on the EX2 are the same as what we had on the Radial 3s. They are the XHP 35.2 HDs in comparison with what's on the DL2s, which are the XPL2 HD LEDs. These LEDs in here are punching out on this pod 2,200 lumens. Let me grab a DL2 right now. There we are, side by side. The DL2's got a slightly smaller profile, but the DL2's got 1,700 lumens. So 2,200, 1,700. Although the DL2 has got a very slightly smaller profile, the weight is very similar. If I was to say, I'd say the EX2 is a little bit lighter, but you know, that's I think that's negligible really. We're not racing these bikes. But again, just looking at them in the hand, it's the first time I've actually had them next to, you know, in my hands side by side like this. The quality from the EX2, the exposure light, no one, you put these into 100 people's hands, no one's going to turn around and say that's nicer quality. It's impossible. The powder coating, although it's very nice, it's nowhere near on a par to the hard anodized finish on this machined aluminium casing. Nowhere near it. Okay, so let's get on to the Calvin colour, because this one's interesting, because what I told you on the D3 has gone the other way with the DL2s. So again, the EX2 has got a Calvin colour of 5,700K, whereas this has got 6,000K. So this is supposed to be a bluer light than what you get from this. I don't understand a hell of a lot about the Calvin side of things, but I know for some of you it's quite important. Again, we've got an IP69 on this, but this Denali quoting has got an IP68 and an IP69K rating. Complete sealed unit. Whilst I'm on that, all of the exposure lights, they can be opened up, but not by you, the consumer. So if you smash, if you break a lens on the front, you can't replace it, but they can. So if you need to have it sent back and sorted, we can sort that for you, but you can't replace it. Whereas these, if you break a lens, it's throwaway. It's also worth noting, all of the lenses on the Denali stuff and the majority of lights out there are polycarbonate lenses, which I would not say are scratch resistant. I have seen them scratch. These are 3mm toughened glass. They haven't experienced a broken lens yet. So there's a challenge for you. Buy these, see if you can break them. Okay, so that's quite interesting. And bearing in mind, these have been used in Dakar races, rally races on cars, and they haven't experienced a broken one yet. And just going back and reflecting on what I was talking about with the IP rating and just being completely fair and trying to be non-biased. You know, I've got accounts with both companies. I make similar margins on both of them, so I shouldn't be too bothered about which one I sell. But on paper, it seems that the Denali DL2 is more waterproof, full submersion. It's got IP68 and IP69K, whereas this is just IP69K. So on paper, that's fine. Now the guys at Exposure will probably be thinking, no. This can stand up to what this has gone through, no problem at all. And I would believe them. And I think in real terms, what we're going to put these lights through, I think they're both going to do a fantastic job. So I really wouldn't use the IP68 and the IP69. They're both fantastic. 7-year warranty, 5-year warranty, both of them fantastic. Obviously at a much lower price point. Can't remember what it is top of my head, whereas this is a higher price point. You know, click on the links down below, look at the prices on our website so you can have a fair comparison with which one you prefer. But for me, if I want a really nice light on my bike with the nicest look, I've already got a beautiful bike, I want the best light on there. I want it to look premium. The Exposures win hands down on that. Right, moving swiftly on to the third one, their flagship for now, the EX4. Now when I first saw these, I was thinking, do we really want that on our bike? It's funny how these things grow on you, isn't it? So same again, same stuff inside there. It's like the EX2, but bigger and longer. Same LEDs inside there, still got the same R2-D2 legs. We're going to remove them. It's got the glider bar on the bottom. Will I be sticking this on my F900? Don't be silly. Of course I'm not. It's too much. But, you know, you could keep the R2-D2 legs on there and you could mount it under the nose. I don't think it's going to fit on the 900, but it certainly will fit on one of the GSs as a central light. So based on that, we haven't got a bundle for that, so you just buy a single light pod And you've already got the EasyCan on your bike, or you buy the respective EasyCan and you can power this directly up as a central middle light. But this is also the same profile as the fog lights on the R1300 GSA. We did try to see if we could do it as a direct replacement. So I'm going to mention this now because I know loads of you will be saying, oh, well, can I swap out my BMW fog lights and put these in there? Unfortunately, no, you can't. It's not a direct fit in there. But I've just fitted these to my R1300 GSA now. So let's have a look at that so you can see it. Right now as I'm doing this, I haven't seen it yet. But let's have a look at that so you can see what that looks like. We can get the position using the slider on the bottom. We can get the position just right so we can get that nice symmetrical look at the front of the bike with the bike's headlights and the current fog lights that are on the GSA. Really powerful light. I will probably be running these at 0. I might have them on at 10% as a running light because we can tilt them a little bit using that post adapter which I mentioned earlier in the video, so we're not dazzling cars coming towards us, but then just having that at 100% coming on. I think this lends itself perfectly towards both of the 1300 GSs and the GSA because of the shape of the light and the way how the headlight works on those bikes. No point in getting onto what it's made of. That I've mentioned that on the EX2. Let's get straight into the stats. It's probably worth putting this up against the Denali DL4. Now I could say the D4, but that is an older light pod. It's still classed as Denali's premium light pod, although it's IP67 and the Denali DL4 is IP68 and 69. But I think the actual lumens and the ratings of the DL4 are more powerful than the Denali D4. So, you know, they're a fantastic light. Okay, so here's the Denali DL4 and here's the Exposure EX4. This is what we're comparing it with. It's not really fair because Denali don't do a 4 in line like this. The LEDs in the EX4 are the same as what's on the EX2 and the Radial 3. They're the XHP 35.2 HD. The most powerful LED chip that Cree are currently making. It beats all of their current LEDs that they're making at the moment. The DL4, however, these have got a Cree chip called the XPL HI LEDs. These are a lot closer in performance to what we've got inside the EX4 and the EX2 and the Radial 3, but they're still not as good. The Cree LEDs in the exposure lights offer a much higher level of output, so that they still win on the actual lumen side of things. So the actual lumens are, so the DL4 punches out 3,400 lumens. That's actually really impressive. 3,400 lumens, whereas the lumens on here is 4,300. So that is actually a lot more, 900 more lumens in the EX4. Yeah, very good. Again, looking at them side by side, you've got the powder coated, cast aluminium. They look lovely. Are they going to age well? Time will tell. Based on the current Denali range with the D3s and the D4s, D2s and everything we've got, give them a few years. If you get a stone chip, you let corrosion get in there, they're going to corrode, they're going to bubble. That's not going to happen with these. The most you're going to see on this is a scratch and a bit of silver coming through, but no corrosion. So these win again, hands down, because of that side of things. The light temperature, going back to the Kelvins, again, 5,700 Kelvins from the EX4 compared to the DL4, which has 6,000 Kelvins. And then same as the EX2 with the DL2, the IP rating for the EX4 is IP69K, whereas the DL4 is an IP68 and IP69K. 5-year warranty on the Denali, 7-year warranty with the exposure lights. Right, I think I've said enough. And I'm sorry to have gone on about it, but these are some serious bits of kit and we need to talk about them, and so you feel like you are getting good information from us. So I'm now going to pack all this up away, and then we're going to head out when it gets dark and show you every light on the 900. So the first test we're going to do is go out, turn the lights off, so you're going to see just the factory headlights going down the road. I'm going to use the same piece of road so we get a fair comparison, and I'm going to try and ride at the same speed. It's literally like for like. So we're going to show it just with the factory headlight. Then we're going to go out and with the Radial 3s on at 10%, and 100%. I might last minute decide to put them on at 20 and 30%. So we'll let you know with overlays on the screen exactly what we're going to do. And then we're going to come back here, change them for the EX2s, do the exact same road test again, then come back here again, put the EX4s on and do the same road test again. So although I'm going to go out there this weekend or maybe tonight and test all these lights, the next bit you're going to see is just showing the exposures, and we're going to have another video coming later showing a comparison between the exposures and the Denali lights. And please leave a comment down below what you want to see so we can make sure we get what you want to see in the next video. We'll try and get amber and yellow lights on as well, so you can get a really good feel of what it's like at night time with those on as well. But leave a comment down below so we know what it is you would like to see in that full comparison test. Right, let's get out there and I'll come back shortly and give you an outro. Right, welcome back. Now the filming we did on the night ride was actually around about a week ago. And I just literally gave all of the footage on that SD card over to Will, our media guy. He's put it all together. I haven't seen it yet, but right now I'm going to tell you that the results of going out there with these exposure lights is exactly what I was expecting. Excellent, fantastic performing lights. The Radial 3s blew me away actually, without even seeing them right now. I know I'm going to see really good results with you at the same time, but the Radial 3s blew me away. I could not believe how much power they were punching in comparison with what Denali are offering for a light pod, which is more than twice the size. The EX2s aren't as powerful as the Radial 3s, and the EX4s were even more powerful, but those Radial 3s, something else. So because this video is getting a little bit long-winded, we did get footage of the Denali D3, the DL4 and the DL2, which are the comparable lights against these exposures. But we're not going to show that in this video. That's going to be in another video coming later on down the line where we can put them side by side. This is just about the exposures. Let's dive in. The first part that's coming up is just the OEM light on the bike. The Radial 3s are on the bike, but they're not turned on. So let's hit play. So that is complete factory dipped headlight. So if you look at the TFT on the bike, you can see that the full beam is not activated. So this is just the factory headlight. That is the dipped light. So if you look at the TFT dash on the bike, when you see the little blue light come on the left-hand side, you know full beam is on. So that is dipped factory. And this is just how I remember it actually. So this is a very good representation on the video what it is like in real life. There's the full beam. Now, I didn't know that went to full beam by looking at the TFT. Quite hard to notice it actually looking at the result, and that's how I remember it on the day, that the full beam really was not that significant. And if I remember rightly, there's a corner coming up and I could hardly see where I was going, and I had to slow right down and it came right upon me very, very quickly. I know this road very well, but you still need to see the corners. Just here. If I remember rightly, there's a left-hand corner coming up as well, and I went right out into the middle of the road. There's nothing coming. Obviously, there was something coming. I'd just seen it ages beforehand because of headlights. Ooh. So I've got a full beam on there, and I couldn't see the bend. I couldn't see the whole bend. I should have slowed down more. Interrupting this broadcast. Now this video was supposed to go live a few days ago, but in the very final hours I pulled it because I wasn't happy with the final edit. One of the main reasons is because when I was looking at the footage, it said the same time on my TFT dash. So I thought it was crucial to make sure that this video didn't go live, because those of you out there who will be noticing the finer detail would see, hang on a second, it's got the same footage, but he's making out it's a different light. But we've now discovered, just to show you, that every time I turn my F900 GS on, it resets at 6 minutes past 12 every single time. So just to show you, if you look at my phone, it says here 12:20. Yeah, now if I go over to my bike, so it's 12:20 on the, where are we, 23rd of June. If I go over to the bike and turn it on now, and if you look down here in the right-hand corner, it always starts at 12:06. Right, so I thought it's very important to put this actually on the video because I know a lot of you will be thinking, well, hang on a second. He's gone back, he's changed the lights for a different light pod, but he's also gone back in time as well. It's caused a lot of confusion here. Got someone here editing my videos, so I'm making a public apology to Will, our media guy. I've had a right go at him this morning and I feel terrible about it, so hands up, but that's how it looked, but at least I can explain to you viewers on here exactly what's going on. So you'll notice the timings on my TFT dash are all messed up over the place because there's something obviously wrong with the internal clock on my bike, which we're going to solve shortly. All right, so enjoy the rest of the video, and I promise you all of the content on the video is accurate. Okay. So it's clear to see that the OEM light on these bikes, they are pretty rubbish. We definitely need extra auxiliary lights on our bikes, not only to be seen better in the daytime, but to see further at night. So in this instance, if we're night riding, we want to see further. We want to see that the wildlife that might be jumping out in the middle of the road, wherever you are in the world. But like, we get customers in Australia who want to see snakes and wombats and kangaroos from miles away. But as you can see, the factory light on this F900 is useless for seeing stuff coming down the road. So we definitely need extra lights. So let's now have a look at the Radial 3s. Oh, okay, here we go. Right, so that is the dipped. As you can see, there's no full beam on the TFT. That is the Radial 3s already. Okay, and in a minute, we're going to go to full beam.
At 10%, I can see a huge...
And just to note, the Radial 3s run at 10%. Because we've dialed that down with the EasyCam. Like, just with these dipped lights, you can already see the width is better. Oh, look at that. So now we've got the full beam on. I didn't need to look at the TFT dash on this video clip. You can see we've got full beam. These are the Radial 3s on at 100% brightness. You can already see further down the road. Now, I don't think this is actually a true representation. I think I could see further than that. It's very hard to get the camera settings right on these cameras, but I do remember being able to see right down the very end of that lane with these lights. But you can see the difference between factory and having the Radial 3s on. It's not just going down the road, it's the wide spread as well. And on that note, I know we're not comparing with Denali's, but the Denali D3s have got incredible long range spot. And I do actually recall these Radial 3s and all of the exposure lights having a better wide spread than the Denali D3s. So you will see in the upcoming video where we compare it with Denali's that the Denali's, they're fantastic. They're great lights. I'm not taking anything away from them at all, but you'll just notice that you've got a bit of a better spread with the exposures. Right, let's dive into the Exposure EX2s.
10% EX2s. So remember, the lumens on this are lower than the Radial 3s.
So it's going to be really interesting seeing these all side by side. But there's 10% on the Exposure EX2s.
Something I'm noticing already is a lovely spread of light. Okay, so that's 10%.
And there's the full beam on the EX2s. Now, that is still fantastic. And remember, from the stats that we've already mentioned, the Radial 3s punch more power than the EX2s.
That's really nice.
But these are fantastic. I think a lot of people will be picking the EX2s because of the spot beam pattern rather than the hybrid spread that you get from the Radial 3. I think people were picking that, but not only that, it's because of the design. The oblong shape of the EX2 is very unique. Right, let's now dive into the EX4s.
Okay, there we are at 10%. Pretty decent, isn't it?
So this is 10%, and you can already see a nice wide spread of light for dipped riding.
See, everybody in this village, we're all on a WhatsApp group. When I get back, I'm going to see messages about, hear messages about a bike going through the village constantly, and I'll have to own up and say, sorry guys, it was me.
There's full beam straight away. Nice and bright. I do recall from that night ride that these were more powerful.
10%.
I was very impressed with them. Not the right light choice for the F900 GS, I don't think, because it just doesn't look right in the front of the bike. I think the Radial 3s or the EX2s are the right light for this bike, but the EX4s are going to lend themselves ever so well on the R1300 GS, the R1300 GSA, the R1250 GS and the GSA, all the real big adventure bikes. The EX4 is going to be great, and I think I said earlier in the video, we've been filming this over 2 weeks now, so I can't remember everything I've said, but a single EX4 under the nose of an R1300 GSA is going to look really good. Just look at that. Obviously there's full beam on. I'm going around that corner that I had to go around really slowly earlier with the factory headlight at a decent pace. It's just lighting everything up. It's worth noting that this is the most powerful light that we do based on the size of it. Okay, it's not as powerful as a D7 or a D7 Pro or the Lone Rider Moto lights, but I think I mentioned earlier, they're big ass dinner plate lights. They're huge. These are not that big. They're big, but they're nowhere near the size of those lights. And look at how much light comes out of it. Well, I think over the last 2 weeks of filming all this content, I think I've given you more than enough information. Like, as I said, this video is getting a little bit long-winded now, but I think you've seen enough to know whether this is right for you. For me, it's all about that quality look, that CNC machined billet aluminium casing. It's just, for me, it's all about just having a classy product on my bike. But they've gone ahead and they've got those Cree LEDs, which no one else has got. They are so powerful. So for me, I'm actually a bit torn whether I have the EX2s or the Radial 3s on my F900, but I'm sticking with the Radial 3s because I've got my EX2s running at 10% on my R90. Obviously, they both come on at 100%. And then I've got my EX4s on my R1300 GS Adventure, which I think looks really, really good because the shape of that light lends itself so well towards the shape of the X on the front of the R1300s. And I think that'll look good on the GS or the GSA. So please make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you're not already, because we will be dropping that Denali versus Exposure video in the coming weeks. So you don't want to miss that, so you get a full comparison of which is the most powerful light, or which is just better all-round light. So whilst we've been filming this, in between early hours of the morning, I am focusing on getting all the bundles ready so you don't end up ordering the wrong thing with the wrong thing. It's what we're known for. A Bike Thing do ready-made bundles for your bike. So if you've got an R1300 GS Adventure, go onto our website, select your bike, select a Bike Thing bundles, go down to the brand and actually select Exposure. If you want to see everything, then just leave the brand off and you'll see the Denali bundles as well. But select the bundle that you want. So for instance, R3, if you go for the R3 bundle, Radial 3, and then you can select EasyCan or CanSmart, the bundle intuitively knows what needs to go with what you're selecting. So if you select those lights, it will make sure it selects the respective things that work with that light, and also the respective mounts that work with that light. That's what's so damn clever about these bundles. By the time you see this video, when it goes out, we won't have everything out there, but we've got all the most popular ones out there right now. So the 1300s, the 1250s, the Ducati Multistrada, the Desert X, the F900 GS, and it's going to keep growing and growing and growing. If you don't see your motorbike in the bundles for Exposure or anything else we're doing, please ping an email straight over to us, because we can create that bundle, that basket for you, and send you a bit of a coupon code as well, so you get a nice bit of discount. But the discount is already in the bundle, okay? Okay, I'm really sorry if you can hear that noise behind me. We're a busy pick and pack workshop here. We've got mail order stuff going out every day, lots of it. So obviously it's a working environment. Anyway, until next time, stay safe behind bars, not these bars, and I'll see you in the next video.